Hello everyone and welcome back to another instalment of our Portuguese barn conversion series.
This is a really exciting video for us both because we're finally revealing the location of where we live.
And I really hope that you enjoy this week's video. We're showing you how stuff doesn't always go to plan. We're the indie project, Bee and Theo, and we've been living and travelling the world in vans for the past 6 years. We're currently renovating an abandoned stone barn in Portugal to turn into a beautiful tiny home for us and our cats, Ginjey Bear and Fernando. Follow our journey from the very beginning as we document the whole process of creating an off-grid home.
So I bounced out of bed this morning, so excited. It's going to be a beautiful, another sunny day, and it's really windy. And I've got quite a big problem, which means I can't get started with my work today. Good morning, chickaroos. How are you enjoying the wind? Aren't our chickens just the most beautiful things you've ever seen? So this morning I've had the pleasure of stripping the generator right back, and I've taken the carburetor fully off, and I've actually drained the carburetor. The carburetor was full of fuel, so I thought that might be the problem, but turns out it's actually the fuel line. It's completely perished all the way along.
It wasn't until we moved off grid that Theo had to really get to grips with taking things apart when they stopped working. Because we're both from the city, Theo's a typical city boy. If anything broke, he could just take it back to where he got it from and get it fixed. But obviously we're out here, there isn't a shop just next door where we can go and get it repaired. So we need to take things apart and fix them ourselves, which means that we now need to go to the city, which is over an hour away, and get that new piece because we both need to use the generator today. And I just had a text message like 5 minutes ago from the wood yard saying that our lumber is ready to collect, which is fantastic, so we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Theo, the wood's arrived.
Chestnut?
Yeah, it's ready to collect.
No way.
I know.
I literally thought that was never gonna happen.
Me too.
I'm so stoked because that means we can get on with the mezzanine literally like today and tomorrow,
Yeah,
which is
sanding
exciting.
and all that stuff.
We got all the sanding, we've got to treat it all, and it's gonna look amazing. Hopefully this one hasn't got living beings in it. You know what I mean? But I was just loading this into the back of the truck because this is my brush cutter. It's currently missing a part because the part broke. Haven't had a chance to take it to the city. This means I can go and get that fixed at the same time, or get the part so I can fix it. And now we get to kill 3 birds with 1 stone, so we get the wood as well.
That's perfect.
This is why it's really nice. Going to the city, you want to compact so much stuff into the day as you can, because otherwise you go there, pick up 1 bolt or 1 screw, and you come all the way back and it's a wasted day.
Just heading to pick up the wood that we've stored away from the barn, right at the bottom of the land, and then we're going to load that up in the truck, and then once that's done we can finally head out to the city and kill our 3 birds.
I am armed. I've just got myself a nice smooth stick so I don't harm the slug.
No offence, but that doesn't look sturdy.
I am not touching these slugs with my bare hands.
They obviously love the plastic.
Size of my hand compared to the slug.
If you touch a slug, you never get the slime off anyway.
Come on, mate. There we go.
Look, you can't see it, but they're literally all over the ground.
This wood just keeps on giving. It started to grow its very own candy floss. I don't know what that is, some sort of mould or something. It's not very nice.
So it smells like mushrooms, but it tastes like marshmallows.
It literally does look, do not eat that. It looks like you could be around a campfire and really enjoy that. Look how appetising that looks. I'm not gonna lie, things are not going to plan today. When we were on the way to this city where we are right now, which I will disclose the location of where it is, which will give away our general location, although we do live an hour south of this city, we broke down in the woodyard. So the guy luckily knew all about these old trucks and managed to get a piece of metal and create his own spark. I'm guessing the spark plugs aren't working on our truck, but the truck fired up when he did that, which was perfect. It meant we could drive straight to an area where I know has a garage. I've just lifted the bonnet to pretend like I know what I'm doing, and the section in the engine bay where the guy was doing the spark was right at the bottom down there somewhere, and the wiring on this vehicle is atrocious. I mean, look how this is wired together. It works to a degree, but maybe I'll redo some of this wiring at some point, but I got a house to build. So Bee's just gone to ask the guys in Rhodey to see if they can help us out. We think it is a spark plug issue, but we will see and see if they can help us. If not, we're going to have to try and fix it ourselves in the car park. We have found if Bee goes into the store on her own when it's like a mechanical issue or a problem with the car, they're so much more helpful with a single female than they are if we go in together. She's also way better at Portuguese than I am.
Well, we timed that absolutely perfectly because it's actually lunchtime. In Portugal, a lot of the places shut down for lunch, which is totally fine, but it means we're going to have to wait until 2:30 until a mechanic can look at the car. So we thought what we'll try and do is bump start it if we can. We're in a completely flat car park, so that's going to be interesting. And then it means we can go around, get all of the bits and pieces, come back here for 2:30, and hopefully they can fix it so we're not stuck in this position again, because this is just everyday life with an old truck, unfortunately. Jump in there.
We did it! We did it!
So now the car's started, we can go to one of our favourite DIY stores, which is called Aki. They have the insecticide stuff that we need to paint the new wood that we'll be collecting on the way back home.
I know it's not great for the environment, but I've left the truck running because I'm not so sure how successful the jump start is going to be every time, and we need to get back to the garage. So we're going to pop to here, go to one more store after this, and then back to the garage and hopefully get this problem fixed.
So we've made it back to the garage, and Theo's just nipped into the shop whilst we're waiting because it's still not open. I think it's about half an hour to go. So I've been sitting here just looking up things, and I've realised from looking at different diagrams and stuff that it was the starter motor that the man in the woodyard was hitting with the metal pole, which makes sense because the engine, when you put the key in, it clicks and then nothing happens. So there's clearly something going on there, along with the screeching that we've been having from the flywheel. So I'm going to go into the garage when it opens and tell them that that's what the issue seems to be, and see if they can have a look there, because I did tell them earlier I thought it was the spark plugs because I just had no idea, but obviously that's totally wrong. Everyone drives old trucks around here, honestly. Like, I'm just looking across the car park now and I can see two, so they're not uncommon. Everyone knows how they work, so hopefully we can be driving the truck away today. Otherwise, I don't really know what we're going to do.
I carry two things, jump leads and a voltmeter, and I've just checked the battery. When Bee turns the ignition, there's no difference, so we've diagnosed it, we think, to being a starter motor issue, but we're going to let the mechanic have a look at it and maybe they can sort the starter motor out or fix the problem. We knew it wasn't the battery early on because of this, which is really useful, so jumping it, there's no point jumping it with jump leads if the battery's fine.
I just want to quickly interrupt today's shenanigans of driving around the city to take a minute to talk about today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. Now, if you don't know what Squarespace is, it's a fantastic online platform where you can build and design your very own website. We've had our website with Squarespace for a number of years now, and it's a really nice place to be able to have all of our stuff in one area. We've got our social medias connected onto there. We have our Instagram feed, our YouTube videos, which is really handy, as well as a newsletter. Even the analytics is just great. I love being able to look at that and see where people from all around the world are looking at our stuff and what blog posts they enjoy to read, because I also do like to dabble in a bit of blogging. Now, I love Squarespace because you can drag and drop and totally change the template that you choose from. If you don't want to even go into that kind of stuff, you can just choose a theme and roll with it straight away. It's super simple to use. So if you want to try out Squarespace, click the link in our description for a free trial and 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. So what are you waiting for? Click that link. Okay, this is the final time I'm going to talk about this flipping car today. We waited until 2:30 and I managed to get them to come and have a look, and they said it is the starter motor, but they don't have their electrician in this week who can fix it, so we're going to have to come in next week to get it repaired. But for now it's working by smacking it with a piece of metal, so that's what we're going to continue to do. And now we're just going to head to the place where we can get that new piece for the still cutter, and then we can get the wood, and then we can go back.
I feel the wind against my puzzled face. 5-speed bicycle round the cape. Cobblestone pathways, memory lane. High tides rolling in to Portland, Maine. And I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone, and that's just fine. 'Cause I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone, lost in my mind. Change comes slow, they say, but it's not so far away.
Ginjey has been sitting here for the past 5 or 10 minutes just staring at that long grass, so she's obviously found something. But it's that time of the day again where the sun starts to go down and all the little creatures, she can find them really easily, and she loves it. She stays out a lot of the night as well. Give her a little stroke. But yeah, I'm probably killing her vibe because she wants to hunt. I've just offloaded all of the chestnut onto the veranda and it's beautiful. I'm so happy with it. This is like the original batch that we got delivered, which is on our veranda, which is on the inside of our roof, and it's just beautiful. I'm so happy we went for chestnut. It's such a shame that we had to wait like another 2 weeks to get this batch. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the original batch that we got of this, which is designed for the mezzanine, was literally riddled with bugs. So insects that eat the wood, they're all inside it. It was just a state, and also it was like 50% moisture. That's not even the worst one. I think if I flip this over, I think it's this one.
Oh my god.
Look at that.
You can see the remnants. There was some dead ones that were on there that have fallen out, but the whole beam is also covered in tiny holes.
Look at that, it just crumbles. It was basically a floating log down a river. But I just need to check the sizes. 13 by 7.5, so they're spot on. The grain looks beautiful. I can't wait to get sanding tomorrow. Unfortunately, we've run out of time right now because of all the breakdowns in Castelo Branco. There we go, I revealed it.
We never said it.
Finally, I completely forgot to say the name of the city because we had the breakdown and we were trying to get it fixed, and we didn't get it fixed, but it's fine. We just park on a hill and all is good. But I'm excited to sand this down tomorrow. We've only got half an hour of sunlight left today.
I'm learning that that's okay. That's okay.
Good morning. it's really cold and quite breezy this morning. As you can see, I've got my winter jacket on, even though it is now in March. It seems to have gone backwards, but yeah, we've got a lot to get on with today. I'm really hyped actually to get started on the sanding, but before we do that, we need to fix that flipping tube that lets the fuel go through on the generator. That's not the generator.
This is the brush cutter, and I've fixed it, I think. Well, I've changed the part. Whether it fires up is another story completely, because it's quite old, it's quite weathered, but hopefully this part will fix it. And yesterday when we were in the city, in the still shop, I saw this protective helmet with a shield and built-in ear defenders all in one. And don't you think it looks a little bit like Eamon from Eamon and Beck? It does, doesn't it? But yeah, I'm excited to wear this when I'm strimming about the land, because there's certain fire bans here in Portugal. Fires are a big thing, so you need to clean your land. Luckily I've got a nice tractor so I can clear the land really easily, but there's certain brambles and bushes that I can't use the tractor on, and that is where this strimmer comes in, and the brush cutter attachment for the strimmer is amazing. So I'm going to get to work on that at some point, hopefully in the next few weeks, because the fire ban will be looming.
Yeah, I think it's in May, isn't it? But firstly, please, can you get the generator started?
Let's give it a go. Working. Sticking a little bit.
Are you going to need to do some maintenance on the handle?
Yeah, I just noticed the handle is sticking, so look, pull that in like that. The throttle just sticks, which it's never done before.
Mega rev.
But it's just not working, so it's like on full rev. So that's the next project, but it's pretty much ready to go. I can sort that out with some, probably, I'll take it apart, WD-40 maybe, some grease. But yeah, stoked, onto the generator.
So now that Theo's emptied the flooded carb and taken off the old manky wire, it's time to attach the new one, which should be a very simple process. Cutting it with my incredibly handy craft knife. I love the bright pink look of it.
Literally, B, plug this in.
Into there.
It works, as long as it keeps running and we can keep it running, that's the main thing.
We're actually going to give it a service at some point, but for now.
A particularly expensive one, and that's why we didn't use our Honda. Our Honda's more low powered, it's 1,000 watt. An amazing generator, really silent, but this one, the actual engine's fine. They always build these things in the most fiddly way, and all the important things they just hide it, and when you got massive hands like I have, it's not ideal for like screwing little bolts together.
You match the generator
and my dirt bike. You don't think this is planned?
No, I know it's not. I know what you're like, and you wouldn't have thought this through like that at all. That is the most fiddly thing. Well, don't forget, I couldn't get that on the other day.
Right, let's see if it fires.
Don't forget the choke. Hello everyone and welcome to How to Sand a Piece of Wood. I am your host Bee along with Fernando. He's just here to look cute because, to be honest, he doesn't actually do anything. So this is our beautiful chestnut. It's gorgeous already, but as you can see, it's got quite a lot of black marks on it, which has happened during transit basically, and we need to make sure that's off before we move forward with it. This is where our beautiful band sander comes in. It's Bosch, it's heavy duty, it's literally very heavy, and as you can see,
it's not a band sander.
Oh, what is it?
I'm trying to think of the name, but it's not called a band sander.
What is it? It doesn't say. Are you sure? I feel like you're lying
I'm positive
to me.
It's not a band sander. A band sander is like, you know what you have in DT at school? And it's on there, it's like a full machine that stands up. This is a...
I want to Google it.
1 second, guys.
Ah, okay, I was so close. I've just Googled it because I've been calling this a band sander for 6 months. It's a belt sander.
Belt sander, that's
Come on, that's so close. Like, let's not be pedantic about it. A belt sander. As you know, I'm very experienced in sanding, obviously, from getting the name of the tool wrong. This is what I'm going to be using on it, a 40 grit. This is proper rough to get all of the marks off it. And the marks aren't just black marks. Sometimes there's footprints, fingerprints, maybe some water damage. This gets it all off. So I'm going to do the first big, deep sand with this belt sander, and then I'll move on to a higher grit.
I'm still out here and I'm still
Bee's got a lot of sanding on her plate. It's probably going to take her all day to sand all of them 12 beams, if not into tomorrow. We ordered 12 of them joists that are going to be used for the mezzanine, but we ordered 2 really long beams that are hopefully going to go on the mezzanine beams that are already there. I'm not explaining it very well, and I'll show you the process as I go, but I need to cut them down. The reason for that is I ordered them longer than I needed them, because what I've found in the past is some of the wood can have defects at the end and stuff like that. So I'll order a bit longer. If there is some curvature in the wood, you can chop it out.
And if this is being lost, then may I never be found. I'm still out here and I'm still moving along, still wondering. I'm still at it, I'm still keeping on, still wondering.
I've just roped Bee in to film this shot because it was a bit of a mission clamping this big beast of timber to the other piece of timber. I'm all about the details, and because these beams are already in place and one of the beams is really narrow, that beam I haven't got enough space to actually route or chisel out the joist pockets. This beam I could do, but I'm really nervous about doing it because if I mess up or it doesn't work for some reason, it means that you've already cut loads of holes in the beam. That beam cannot come out and a new beam cannot go in. This was put in when the roof was off and the walls were down pretty much. So it's quite nerve-wracking. So I kind of had a think and tried to think of a way around it. I'm going to use some lag bolts. So every time there's a beam, I think I'm doing 400 centres, so there's 11 beams across here. Every time there's a beam, I'm going to put a lag bolt in. So all of the weight on this timber will be transferred into the lag bolt. And these lag bolts seem to be able to take a lot of weight. So I don't think there'll be a problem structurally, because this mezzanine is just going to hold our bed and a small bit of storage.
Like clothes, that's
like
it.
clothes and stuff. So it's not heavy goods up there. We want to keep it quite open, quite clean. So actually I don't think there'll be much weight up there.
So check this out, I'm going to show you. From this angle where I am, it's purely because of the lighting. You cannot see this wood that is clamped to the other wood. It's just the weirdest thing. So what do you think? You cannot see it. I can't see it. If you look here, there's like an ever so slight change in the light where you can see just the edge there.
And the reason there's a small gap here is initially I was going to have this beam right to the edge, but I decided that with shrinkage and stuff like that in the summer, and if these beams dry out anymore, you'll have a gap that is a tiny gap and it will expand and contract and stuff like that. So I thought, set up there, the beam can sit on top, floorboards on the top of that, and it should look really nice. I'm not sure whether it's a good idea to countersink the bolt into the wood. Maybe I'll lose some structural integrity there. So what we're thinking is maybe to paint the bolts black so they just look nicer. I think black bolts and black fittings go really nicely with a lighter wood. That is what I was going to go for. If I had to use joist hangers, I was going to use black joist hangers or spray them black, but this way I really like. I think it looks really organic, and when you've got all the joists going across, I don't think you'll notice anything that's going on.
It's been a while since I last spoke to camera, and I've managed to get 4 beams fully done. I was planning on doing a lot more, but something has come up, and that something is, unfortunately, I went up to the caravan to have a quick break, and Ginjey was in there in a lot of pain. She's growling, she looked very uncomfortable, she's holding one of her legs up and she won't let me touch her. So I called the vets and they want to see her, so I'm going to go and take her to the city after I film this and put everything away, and hopefully she's going to be okay. I don't really know what's going on there. Maybe she jumped out of a tree and she's hurt herself or something, but there's nothing to physically see. She's just in a lot of pain. But let me show you how beautiful this wood looks after it's been sanded. The wood is just so beautiful. Look at that grain. When we oil this up, oh, I can't wait for it. So these are going to be the beams for the mezzanine. The floor will be going on these. These are basically the floor beams, and they look absolutely beautiful.
Usually the chickens put themselves to bed, but because we got to leave about half an hour before sunset, we need to get them in. It's always a fun challenge getting them in before their bedtime, because they're never very happy. They always want to stay out and explore.
Here, chicken chickies! Here, chicken chickies! Here, chicken chickies! Come on! We're going to have to do the old shepherding technique. I know, Mary, you don't want to go in.
Everything's locked up, all the animals have been put away, and poor Ginjey is just hanging out in a basket waiting to go to the city to see the vet.
So we're back in Castelo Branco. We've gone full circle, and we really wanted to just show you what life is like for us out here building our own home in Portugal over the past few days. And I really hope that Ginjey's okay. She's been super quiet. She's literally just on my lap right now, and we're nearly at the vets. See you in a bit.
See you later, good luck. So I think I'm going to end the video there. It's been a bit chaotic, things haven't necessarily gone to plan, but that's part of living off grid, and we want to be as authentic as possible with you guys and show you our real life. This is what happens, things break, we have to fix them. You know, we had planned to get further along in the last couple of days, but we haven't, but we'll make up for it in the next few days. And it's actually been really interesting to bring you guys to Castelo Branco, the city that we come to pick up a lot of our supplies. And it's cool that we can show you the surrounding area a little bit more. We've kept it under wraps for a long time because there's been a lot of speculation, and back in the UK when we had a home base, people would track us down, people would try and find us, and it's not very nice, as you can imagine, just having people knock on your door or just turn up to your place where you live and you feel comfortable, and that's exactly what we don't want on our land. This is not an invitation for anyone to track us down, to try and find us, to try and just turn up on the land. It's just not what we want. We are very private people. Although we put our lives on the internet, it's on our terms, and we don't want people just turning up. So that is why we've kept it under wraps for so long. But Central Portugal is absolutely beautiful. So let us know in the comments if you want us to show you more of the surrounding areas and how beautiful it actually is, and maybe we can go on some day trips when the lockdown's over. But I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.